Iowa has 9 statewide elected officials, and in 2023, only one will be a Democrat. You see how big of a rebuild Iowa Democrats have before them.
There isn't much left. That means that the party leadership is really going to be the leadership of the Democratic Party. Clearly, there's nothing else there. So we have to start to rebuild the party that way. And anytime that a disaster happens, I guess there's opportunity to rebuild. And that's what I think the Democratic Party should do, is to look at this as an opportunity, not as something you walk away from and give up.
Why doesn't the Democratic Party, Tom, for example, become the moderate party in Iowa?
Yeah.
There's really no place for most of the moderates right now.
Right.
Why doesn't the Democratic Party do that? There's an opportunity there.
Well, you're right, because when you look at the battleground, when you have an equal number of registered voters in both parties, it's the middle that we fight for. And that's where the Democratic Party should be. As you've mentioned, it should be the Democratic Party of Iowa. And it should direct itself at those voters in the middle. Because in reality, people vote for candidates. They don't vote necessarily always by party label. So some people do that we run around with, but most people still vote by candidate. And that's what drives the conversation.
Speaking of candidates, the President of the United States is 80 years old. How does your party handle that moving forward about whether he should run again?
Well, I think it's up to him to decide whether he's going to run again. And once he decides, then we'll decide, whether it's going to be an open election or not. I don't know how many people will be respectful of that, but if it does happen that he decides not to run again, and you're not going to hear that probably for several months, because once you do that, if he did decide not to run again, he becomes a lame duck, doesn't he? He loses his power and his influence, and I don't think Joe Biden is unaware of that. But if he decides not to run again, then we'll deal with it. And hopefully there'll be a good candidate step forward that we may not even know yet that might be our nominee.
Do you want him to run again?
I want him to run again if he wants to. I think he's done a good job. I really like Joe Biden. I think
he wants to run again, it would seem, right?
He's all but said he's going to run again, right. Tom. He just didn't want to file the paperwork. Come on.
Well, then he'll do that. I can't talk him out of it.
Okay.
But
so, Doug, what are you doing? What are you doing so that there is a Trump alternative in 2024? We had Bob Vander Plaats on last week. He said it's time to turn the page. He's moved on, like he did with Steve King a couple of years back. You were over Steve King a long time ago, but
Bob eventually gets to where I am, but it takes him a while.
You come at it from different paths.
We do.
To get there.
Not
different
really,
journeys.
but he and I have some history together. But I agree with Bob on this. It's time to turn the page. The elections are about the future, not the past. And I thought the announcement of Trump fell flat. It reminded me of sort of watching a rerun and not being interested in the show anymore. And in many respects, I think that's the case. But fundamentally what's happened is Trump he did this willingly. He tested his brand during the 2022 election by picking candidates and supporting particular candidates that weren't exactly mainstream, and he lost almost uniformly.
Ahead in the Insider's Quick Six, a different Full Grassley.